Well, good evening, guys. I hope we're all well on this snow-covered UK island. As you're probably aware, for those people who are this side of the pond, we are having horrendous Siberian weather conditions here. The north of Scotland have hit the red snow warning. I sound like the weatherman here. And the northeast of the UK and the south that's a hit at amber weather warning. Good evening, Craig Whitney. Hope you're well, my friend. Don't forget, guys, like and share. Good evening, Colette. Good evening, Vicky, who's sat just over there. And good evening, Kerry. Hope you're all well, guys. As you probably know in the title, Neil Cook, Spirit Medium, on the GSI Paranormal channel, talking all things paranormal and spiritual. This is your opportunity to join in, guys, and contribute. Please share, let other people see what we're doing, and we can see if we can build an audience and get some chat going here. We normally talk about anything paranormal, anything spiritual. I try and answer all your questions the best I can. I'm not looking to connect to spirit tonight, but if anything was to come through, then I'll do my utmost best to aim it at the right person. What else have we got, Vicky? We've got a couple of events coming up soon. One is around 246 days away, and it's a Halloween special. We're doing that with Brooks Paranormal, and it's going to be on the Halloween night, of course, and we're awaiting the information to be released so we can let you know what we're doing with them. Myself, as the Spirit Medium, will be hosting the event alongside the amazing Linda and Jordan, working on that evening, doing all things spooky in a very haunted location, which has an underground to it, or more than one, I believe, underground with caves and caverns. So hopefully, as and when these guys pop on the live feed, which I think Linda's there now. Good evening, Linda. Then they can share their links on here as well. If you are anything to do with paranormal, anything to do with the spiritual world, or just anything to do with social media, and it's your business, you advertise on here, we invite you to post your pages in the comments. That way it hits a bigger audience. Just, you have to remember, guys, we're all like-minded. We're all here for one reason, because we're into the paranormal or spiritual side of things. So what better place than to share your page on this live feed now so everyone can see. Thanks to MSI, they've kindly sorted out my live streaming out. Under these light conditions, it's not too good, because we're videoing at night and it's poor light conditions, and I've yet to get myself some good light boxes in order to illuminate my area where I do my live streaming. But this desktop which you see behind me, we've been having problems with that webcam which you see up on there now, along with the system software, and it's been causing a lot of problems with the live streams, to the extent that we've been doing it off the mobile phone and other sources. So thanks to MSI, I now have a state-of-the-art laptop. It does many things, as well as the webcam which I'm videoing off now, which kind of gives me a different area to work in. And you'll have to excuse the chair squeaking as well. That'll be something else I'll have to put right. Right, Vicky, who's in the chat?
We've got Michael, Linda, Josephine, Lara from Kentucky. Holly said that she's been looking forward to this all day.
Good. If you're watching for the first time, guys, let us know where you're watching from, and we'll give you a big shout out. The majority of the people I can see here, Vicky Tori Brown, Mary.
I was just going to say Vicky Tori Brown's on, and Cheryl's on as well.
Yep.
We've got something about that we'd like to put out there as well tonight about Cheryl's house and a few of the houses near her, haven't we?
Oh, right. I'm not sure which Cheryl we're talking about. Phil Barnes has also joined us. Thank you, Phil. Phil's old friend of mine who's into his photography. I'm not sure if you're still doing it, Phil, but if you are, then please post your links and let the good world see what you do and whether they can come and like your page as well. Yes, we'll start the subject off all things spooky. I see the name Cheryl Oxford in the comments. Now, Cheryl has contacted us, and we're not going to say too much because of client confidentiality, but she's invited us to go to her location, her home, because she's having things all paranormal happening within there. And if anyone else is having these kind of things, then please let us know as well. It'll be good, even if it's just a topic on here on a live stream show. But Cheryl's been having things going bump in the night, and she's asked us to come round and investigate this for her. Due to weather conditions today and other jobs which have got in the way, we haven't managed to get there tonight.
We weren't going to Cheryl's. But
oh, right, are we talking about someone else now?
Right, we weren't going to Cheryl's. I never tell you where we're going, so that's
right.
why you're a little bit confused.
Oh, right, okay then.
Somebody else on Cheryl's Road has contacted us saying that they're having the same things as when we went to Cheryl's house.
Right, I see. Okay then. So we've been contacted by someone, I can't remember the name, forgive me, Natalie, and we've been asked to go to her location very soon. And from what Vicky's told me briefly, the same people in the same houses living almost next door to each other are all having the same problems, whether it's connected to the land or whether it's connected to the block of houses which are all attached together. This is what we're going around to find out. But like, yeah.
I know Cheryl won't mind me saying this, but one of her daughters sees a figure on the stairs and is scared to go to bed. And last night I got a message from a lady who said almost exactly the same thing.
Yep.
And I don't think this lady knows that we've been to Cheryl's house on that road. But she's experiencing almost exactly the same things. And when I was talking to my friend about it, my mum's friend lives on the same street as well. And she asked us last week if we could arrange to go and see her. And it wasn't until I've put all this together that they actually live almost next door to each other.
Right.
So I've been trying to do a little bit of history on the actual row of houses because the pit mine is very close. So I don't know if these are like old pit houses.
And there's a connection with that.
And so I'm hoping that when we go to the next two houses on the same street, that when we do go, I've got a little bit more history of the place. So
have we got 3 to do?
So we've done one, we've done Cheryl.
Right, okay then.
But she's desperate for us to go back after Layla, the little girl drew the pictures for us. Can you remember?
Yep, I remember that, yep.
And so I'm hoping that once I've done a little bit of history on the actual land itself, that we can get an even better connection when we do go.
There's some comments in there now regarding people's things which go bump in the night, as well as what we've talked about Cheryl as well.
Oh, Cheryl's commented it was going from outside the bathroom opposite, which Layla saw and went into Natalie's. So her house is next door to Cheryl's.
All right. Can I just ask, guys, can you hear Vicky okay? Because she's not close to the microphone set up here. Can everyone hear Vicky talking as well in the background? I hate to think that I'm just sat here in silence and you don't know Vicky's talking as well. Right. If you could just comment and let me know.
Yeah, the thumbs are going.
Oh, good.
So Cheryl's there now just confirmed that when Layla sees the shadow figure, it's actually going into the woman's house who's just contacted us
next door. Right, okay then. We won't say too much about what's happening there, and that way my thoughts will be influenced. Josephine Northover, she still has activity going on in her home where things are being moved. Loud bangs and shadow figures. Quite classic signs of spirit trying to get your attention, Josephine, as we've spoke about privately as well as on the live feed show, this is how spirit contacts us. It becomes a noisy spirit, what some people may say poltergeist, i.e. noisy spirit, but the less we pay attention or the less likely we hear them, then they're going to get noisier and noisier. Craig Whitney has also had some amazing experiences. We have been asked to go to Craig's, and as of yet we keep forgetting and not going, so I believe it's family related with Craig, where we need to go to a sister's house, if I'm right, Craig, with regard to what's going on. Michael McIver, thank you for joining us, and Michael Smith, hope your Commodore 64 is doing well. Sheila Richardson, thank you for joining us, and Jordan Brooks, also thank you for joining us, along with Linda. I've just been saying there, Jordan, with regards to forthcoming events, Halloween, 246 days time, I believe, or something similar, where Brooks Paranormal is hosting a Halloween special night. Don't forget to post any links on here and share so these guys can see what's forthcoming with regard to your page. I will also say, guys, that a friend of mine, Lee Steer, is live tonight at 9 p.m. So for all you who follow Lee Steer, I'll make sure that this show doesn't overlap his, and you can pop along and watch his show as well. So please look out for the live comments or live notification for that. If you always want to follow these live feeds, guys, I know that intermittently from day to day, from Wednesday or Thursday, work permitting, then if you click the live notification button, not only can you get the live feeds from us notification, but from all the other people on this good page as well. Is there any questions, guys? Any questions you would like to ask? Anything you would like to ask about spirit? Some burning question you've always wanted to ask, or it's come to light lately and it's something you just want to make sure you're not going a little bit doolally up here? We are having adverse weather conditions outside as we speak. It's gale force winds out there. I'm hoping it's not going to interfere with anything we do tonight here on the live stream. We've got a good solid connection with the Wi-Fi as well as everything else. If the power goes, at least the laptop's got a battery anyway.
So what's your thoughts on that then?
The thoughts on these houses?
Having these 3 houses that 3 different people have contacted us saying that they're having very similar experiences. Right. So what's your thoughts on that?
My views and thoughts and experiences on people who live together and experience very much the same activity in and around the homes. It's normally a case that spirit is connected to the homes, to the land, more than it's connected to the homes. Or in a previous time when the houses were first built, some residents who lived there, the old communities were very much joined together, where your nana, your mum and yourself all lived on the same terrace block. If we're talking about a mining town way back in its day, then you would find that it was very much a community and a family, and there's no reason why we all didn't live in each other's houses, so therefore there could be a strong connection of residual energy there. We do find when we connect to spirit and when we go looking as a paranormal investigator that there's always links connected to buildings which are very close together, so this may be the case, but yes, it'll be interesting to hear if you're having things which go and bump in the night. My comments aren't going up on the page, and I'm hoping Vicky's are.
It's just everyone saying hello to everyone.
Right, that's good. Don't forget, guys, all these people on here are like-minded, so please feel free to join in the conversation. Also, guys, we're off to the North East Air Museum on the 21st of April. It's a GSI Paranormal event. It is from 9 p.m. on the evening till 2 in the morning. It may go a little bit longer, depending on how active it is. And for those people who know of the North East Air Museum, and for those who don't, should I say, it's located in Sunderland in the northeast of England. The details are on our GSI page, where you can find not only the ticket price, the tickets, and a little bit of history about the event as well. And if you're free that time of the month, it's well worth visiting. Brent, hi, hope you're well. Lee Grant, hello there, hope you're well too. Kerry Renton, thank you for joining us. And Nicholas Smith, however it's pronounced, hi there. Let's have a look. Right, we've read that one out. I don't know if I'm getting all the comments because it's streaming. Is it scrolling up on your page, Vicky? Yep, okay. No questions? No?
Linda Brooke has just said one. What's your thoughts on using the Ouija board in your home, in your own home? Can it attract more spirits, energy to visit?
Well, I've always said, Linda, that the spirit board or the Ouija board is just a communicational device. It's exactly the same as using ITC, using the Obulus, using the spirit box, or using the medium himself. You're using it as a communicational device. I don't believe that we would be contacted by anything other than a negative spirit coming through. I believe the word demonic was created by the church, and we'll only ever deal with regards to spirit with what once walked on this earth. You'll hear me say this all the time. So yes, it can attract spirits, but we are actually asking for spirit to make that contact. I don't genuinely believe that spirit will attach themselves to us, the place we live, or follow us around as an attachment, because spirits are normally grounded in a location as an astral spirit for a reason, and not for the reason of being in our front room or the location we're doing it. If we connect to spirit in a castle, in an old war location, or something which is significantly haunted, then yes, spirit will be there and will be using that device as a communicational device. But to invite spirit to the location where we're using it, i.e. our home, then we should only make contact with spirit. It'll pass the messages on, more than likely from a loved one, and then obviously at some point we'll break that connection as the strength of spirit weakens. I don't believe anything else other than family members would come through if we were doing it in our homes. Obviously within a location which is significantly haunted, then we're looking to connect to intelligent and residual energy at that location. And there's always the chance our loved ones in spirit and our guides will also intervene on the spirit board and make a personal connection. What you have to think about, guys, is not everyone has the ability to connect to spirit, and spirit takes a great deal of strength to make that communication. Once that energy is built up and there's an opportunity for spirit to make that connection, then it'll use whichever way, means or form to do that, whether it would be the same way as Josephine's hearing within her own home, or the opportunity to communicate on a spirit board no matter wherever we are. So although we may go to a location to connect to spirit at a haunted castle, there's no reason why our loved ones can't make that connection whilst we're there, if that makes sense, guys. You have to remember, a lot of us pine to make that connection with our loved ones in spirit. The biggest thing we do when we lose our loved ones to spirit is we yearn to make that connection with them, and this is why we go and see a medium or go to a spiritual church. But you know how much that hurts for us to make that connection. But what you also have to remember, guys, is how much a spirit wanting to make the connection to us. It can be just as frustrating that they could be there coming through all the time and we're not making that connection. So yeah, it's just as bad for us to get that message from spirit than it is for spirit to make that connection to us.
Jordan has said, do you think Hadrian's Wall is haunted? I remember seeing a photograph someone took a couple of years ago, what looked like a ghost of a Roman soldier next to the wall.
I would believe that under the right conditions and environment, more so to a significant time around Hadrian's Wall, which could be a battle or something else, where under the right conditions you would physically not only feel the energy of these soldiers, these Romans. There's no reason why they couldn't manifest and show themselves as residual energy, Jordan, or physically make interaction as intelligent energy. You have to remember that these walls were built for a reason. They were there as a boundary, and no doubt at some point along the fortresses along this wall, they would have stopped. If I'm right in saying the North invading the South, Scotland to England. I don't know that much history about them, whether that was the borders back then and it's now moved. But yeah, I would say any good medium, any sensitive person would make a connection, and you guys as paranormal investigators would also make that same connection through ITC.
And Holly said, I saw a ghost bloke the other night when I was coming home from work. He was waiting to cross the road at the stone bridge in Broughton. The lights were on green, but I slowed down to let him pass. He was pushing a wooden cart. As I slowed to stop, he just stopped being there and he was gone.
Right, great. Did you say this was at a crossroads? Was this at a crossroads?
I think she means at where the bridge is, where the traffic lights are in Broughton.
Just here. Right, okay then. I will say a little bit of history about Middlesbrough, and where I'm going with this, it could well be linked to what you've seen. Now, my hometown of Middlesbrough in the northeast of England, there was a significant point at the start of the town, which was on the crossroads of the town. Anyone who knows Middlesbrough will know it's Linthorpe Road, where it crosses Earsham Street Junction. And that used to be the boundaries of the town way back in the time the town was founded. And a lot of people who came into the town way back then and committed a crime or treason or something else would have been hung on the crossroads. Now, what people have reported since then is ghostly apparitions being in and around these crossroads. And there's a book called Haunted Middlesbrough, which is out. You can read on Kindle, on Amazon, or even purchase it somewhere from a good bookstore. And this will talk about your towns. The one about Middlesbrough talks about the hauntings on these crossroads. And where I'm going with this, Holly, is there's no reason that way back in its day, when this village of Broughton was first founded, when it shot up, it could have been something similar to that. It could well be just residual energy. If this apparition, this spirit, this ghost didn't interact with you and kind of had a glazed look on their face, then there could have been just reliving a looping time in history of something which they once did, just like you would with a video recording on repeat play. If it was intelligent, then that spirit would have interacted with you if it had a duty to do so, i.e. if there was a connection with you. But that's interesting to hear of this. There's always spirit around, and some guy once said, and I think Richard Felix said exactly the same. Do we actually know we're seeing a ghost, or do we assume it's just a normal human form of life, i.e. as you see me now? We could pass many people in a pedestrianised walkway, but what's to say that one of them wasn't a spirit energy just walking along, following the person in front of them because of a connection?
We have, I've lost it now. Kimberly, how do you start up a group?
The best way to start up a group is through word of mouth. There'll always be someone who has some interest in and around your area, but the nearest group to them would be further afield, and they're wanting to stay local, or they're wanting someone who they're going to kind of gel with in their neighbourhood. Social media is one of the best ways you find. You open up a page, you find yourself a name, and then put yourself out there. We started off many moons ago, just myself, my partner Vicky, and our good friend Jan, and we were just doing it because one, it was our passion, me as a psychic medium and these guys as paranormal investigators, and we're talking some years later, we're now over 12,000 followers.
It's hard work. You've got to put the hours in. You've got to be passionate about it. You've got to find the light-hearted people.
But it's a hobby, remember. It's not our livelihood.
Absolutely.
We all have normal jobs as well in this normal world. But word of mouth would normally be the best thing to get your name out there. How do you set up a group was what you asked. And I would just put it out there on Facebook. A lot of people come to me also and say, I'm wishing to start a mediumship channel here on Facebook. And I always tell them not to preach. And what I mean by that is just put your name out there and let people share what you do. That way, the people who actually come along and join your page will people who are like-minded, rather than you sending all your invites out to people who might not have interest in what you do in the paranormal or spiritual world. But whatever you do, whatever you set up, send us the link, pop it in here, and we'll share the backside out of it, just like all these other good people do. The basic of equipment will start you off, if you haven't got that yet. Your camera phones are some of the best equipment you can use. Your own eyes and ears are the best, and a good dictaphone as well. And just look for these free locations. There's a lot of hobbyists out there who have really good camera equipment and movie cameras, but they don't get a chance to use them. And you can invite them along as a project for them to video what you do. And before you know it, then these guys are putting some amazing videos together, just like Shane and Andrew did for us when we were in our last year working with, they were working with us at GSI. I mean, a lot of these trailers you see here, the videos which were still circulating on our wall by these guys, Shane and Andrew, and you will find that there's always someone with a camera wanting to use it, and there's always someone with a load of kind of gadgets who want to get out with you and do it. And a lot of people do it just because of the scare factor, and before you know it, they become avid fans of it, and they're ringing you up saying, when are we going out next? We want to get out there and do that. Anything else, Vix?
Patty has said, do you think we can get a picture of our loved ones in a photo? I'm always waiting and hoping for this.
Do you mean a picture you already...
To capture their spirit.
To capture the spirit?
I think.
You are sorry?
I think that's what she means.
If you mean to take a picture of your loved one who you believe is around you, then yes, you can. You have to remember, like I said previously, it takes a lot of energy for spirit to manifest, and the best way for you to create that is build that energy up yourself. If you're wanting to connect to a certain loved one yourself, whether you're sensitive or not, then one, you should be talking to them out loud whilst you're doing your washing up. If you're doing any meditation, then ask for their energy to come forward. Get the old photo album out of all your loved ones and relatives who passed the spirit, and look for them significant things like the jewelry box and the pendants and the rings which they left you. Providing that you're building that energy up like that, then there's no reason why you can't get your camera phone out and start taking pictures in and around the environment you're building that energy. And you may find that there's a hidden image in there, and get that image up on big screen, on your laptop, on your PC or your TV, and then start looking to see if that energy is manifest. You can also ask for them to communicate through other ways. Put the radio station on and ask them to play your favorite song. Ask them to you start singing that song in your head and wait for it coming on the radio, and that will be a sign from spirit.
That actually, I got a message off Alan, didn't I, from Skin and Growth Paranormal.
Alan Willis, yeah.
And he said the other day that he was just pottering on, washing his pots. And all of a sudden he started singing this song, which he actually had never heard of, but it had come into his head. And he asked for some advice. And so we sent a message back saying that it could be subconsciously that you'd heard it on the radio days before, and because you were in a world of your own, washing the pots, it just came into your head. Or another explanation, it could have been an anniversary of a spirit, or a spirit trying to get a message through to somebody. And he was quite happy with that advice, wasn't he? He was like, I totally understand it now. He said, I just couldn't understand why that one song that I've never even heard of, we had to look it up to get the name of it. Spirit
will get a message to you, but it's whether or not you will pick up on that message. Do you want to just pass that little thing over, Vicky? Yeah, there's lots of signs all the time being sent to you, but we're not all sensitive enough to pick up on them signs. I'm going to show you something now which is significant. This is a jewellery box which was left to Vicky by a nan. Yep. It's a very old jewellery box. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little wind handle on there which you would wind up, and it sounds like that. And I'm assuming you can hear that noise. Now, this thing hadn't been wound up for a very, very long time. And because the lid doesn't need to be open for it to actually, like a little ballerina, to stand up and start dancing, then if it's not in use and it's sat like this, then it shouldn't be playing any tunes. Now, the other day, because it was symbolic to an anniversary, which is linked to Vicky's nan, this started to play on its own. Now, as you hear now, it's stopped. The handle's not being turned to wind the spring up. So it was sat like that, where it always sits on the bedside cabinet.
Next to my Bible.
Next to the Bible, with little bits of jewellery in like that. And it has a little spring mechanism on there. And once that's pressed in, it shouldn't play. Now, if I take my finger off it, you'll see that little piece of metal there. It releases the sound. Yep. Now this thing started to play by itself, and it was right next to Vicky, and it was also an anniversary on that day. So where I'm going with spirit and how they try and contact you, and whether or not you accept what's happening as a sign, Vicky accepted this straight away as a sign. It shouldn't have started playing. I've wound it up a little, and I know it's playing now, but it just started playing by itself out of the blue. So look for them signs. We have a pendant which has got crystals on, and it's hung just behind this laptop here now, and the crystals are there for a reason. Now, this pendant keeps getting moved off the door. This is a room we use a lot, which we're in now, and that is there for protection. But we find from time to time that it's on the floor. Now, I know you can say, well, yes, it could fall off the door because of the movement, but we also find it in different places within this room.
It was in the kitchen the other day.
It's been left in the kitchen. It's been placed over the other side of the room near the patio doors. Yes, it's been right at the bottom of the doors, but again, something keeps moving that crystal for the protection to be taken down, which we have on the house, on the room. So that's little signs as well. Fortunately, my spirit guide keeps them from entering this room, entering this house, and obviously he's offering that protection there for him. Is there any more new names on the block? It's -6 here in Nottingham, Jordan saying, and it's there was a blizzard for about 20 minutes. I know it's an old comment, Jordan. We've got that blizzard here outside now. You probably can't hear it because of the mic's not sensitive enough, but we've got snow drifts all around us as we speak, from outside the front of the house as well as the back of the house as well. Anything, Vic? No?
Linda said, I love the white feathers on the doorstep from family and spirit.
Yeah, we get them all the time. The side of our house is the side door, which we use an awful lot, and it's one of them areas where if you put anything down there, it should be gone straight away because it's a very windy area. But we do find that white feathers are left on the doormat before we enter the house or exit the house. But yet all the leaves and debris are still blowing round and round. And then you have this one white feather which is sat on the doormat, if though someone had actually glued it to the doormat. We found that a lot. We do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Patty said that she finds dimes a lot. Cheryl said, when I went to Coventry to visit the church, to visit the church in a town centre that my nana's ashes are in, along with some more family members, we came out to find the friendliest squirrel ever. And strangely, a few days before, I found some acorns and I put them in my bag. The squirrels took them out of the girl's hands, and we think it was her saying hello.
Yep. That is a sign as well. That's something I would accept as a sign. Something unique has happened, which would normally not happen. A squirrel is a wild animal. They're not a friendly animal. And for them to literally feed from your hand, then it's something angelic, I would say. And for you to find the acorns and then you have this interaction with wildlife, that's something as a sign. And the squirrel will probably never ever do that thing again because it was just that moment and you were there at the right time. But yeah, little things like that. I did once say on this live stream, when we first moved to this area and this house, it was coming up to the anniversary of my dad's passing, which was December time. And as we moved into this house, for I think a week or so, we had a pigeon stood in the middle of our lawn every other day. Now, my father used to race pigeons as well as keep them as a breeder, and all his life was about the pigeon, the racing pigeon, the homing pigeon. And I think that was acknowledgement from my father that he was happy for us. We'd settled somewhere finally because we'd moved around a few times trying to get this house. And we came here, set up home, and that was him acknowledging me that we've done the right thing. So yeah, I took that as a sign as well. Finding pennies or dimes around the home is also a sign.
We found one the other day. It was a foreign coin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just laid in the middle of the kitchen floor, and we were like, where the hell's that come from? We haven't been abroad for ages. No. And why have we got this foreign coin here?
Yeah. It could have been a penny or what we received in our change, and we mistook it for a penny because we get these dimes and foreign coins in our change, and obviously it's not our currency, but for it to be on the floor, I mean, when I drop money in this house, it hits me on the back of the head because I'm so quick at trying to pick it up. But we don't have children around the home, and we know the dog doesn't have pocket money, so there shouldn't be pennies and things like that in around us. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was somewhere back here, I think.
Sounds like it came from over
there. Yeah, all right. Bit of noise in the bedroom already from over in the corner of the room.
We've had quite a bit actually the last couple of days, haven't we?
Yes, let me just tell you something. The other day on the live stream, we were talking and we had some banging in and around the room or in and around the house, and we mentioned it. I believe we mentioned it here on the live stream about some knocks, some bangs. At one point, it felt like the room shook. If I remember rightly, I posted it. It was something like "Spirit are very active tonight," and it was some of it was banging, like someone making that kind of noise on a solid object. A lot of it was kind of in each room and around the house. And we didn't know what it was. It didn't come close enough to me for me to make that connection. But there was something there trying to let us know that spirit was active. Now, I later found out the next day a close friend of mine had passed away to spirit. It was a sudden illness, and unfortunately he lost he lost his life to this illness. Now, this person used to work as a handyman. Dave, his name was, bless him, and he would have had a bag of tools, and in his place of work, he would have had all these tools out, and he would have been hammering something into a piece of wood or banging something else. So I came home that night and I spoke to Vicky about this news I'd learned, and I told her about this, and I said maybe it was Dave just letting us know he was taking his transition and he was just hammering them nails into the floor one last time just to let us know. But yeah, again, another sign it was, I believe.
And Jane said, I always find pennies around the house. My deceased friend always said that pennies were from heaven. Do you believe it could be her?
Well, it's one of them things, one of them phrases in it, pennies from heaven. Yes, I do believe it would be her. If it was something she would have said to you all the time and you would have heard of her saying this, then what better way to let her, you know, that she's around by physically leaving something she would have related to. It's my mum. While she was carrying me in childbirth, actually found two big long feathers which either belonged to like a peacock or something similar, and she kept these two glass feathers and put them in a glass box because she thought they were a sign from her mum with regards to acknowledgement to the childbirth of myself. My mum was very spiritual as well. Now, these feathers are still in that glass box, and they're 49 years young because that's how old I am, and my mum found them prior to me being born. So these have been kept because my mum took them feathers as a sign as well. Just like our loved ones always used to say pennies from heaven or something for luck, then yes, I believe she would have left these just to let you know and jog that little memory which you have in here of her verbal saying pennies from heaven. Anything else, Vicky?
Colette says, I see spirit lights with my own eyes. It's great.
Yes, early manifestation of spirit will be in a form of light. It may also be what some people call shadow figures, things moving out of your peripheral vision. You see it quickly and it's gone, but there's no logical explanation why this has happened. And then the more energy spirit builds up, then the more likely it's going to show itself as light, if not as an apparition. And all it is it's showing itself as how it used to be. Spirit will always show yourself, if it's connected to you, how you best remember them. And like I said in last week's live feed, if your loved one went to spirit and the health went downhill towards the end, they won't come back and show themselves as that really poorly energy. They'll come back and show themselves in the full prime of how they used to live, with meat on the bones, and even a younger version of them as well. But it'll be a memory that you see from them of something which was much love around that time. Maybe something was happening at that age. They'll show themselves, which is significant to you. But like I said, they won't show themselves as the latter days, as the later times towards the end of life. Right, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to call it a night, or in your world, a day, wherever you're watching from. I just want to thank you for joining in tonight. I know it hasn't been very active with regards to the talking. I hope we haven't missed all the comments in there. And I know there's some late joiners just coming in now.
Helen has just come.
Helen still? Mm-hmm. Helen will have been along to a dance class, no doubt, and she'll have had one earphone in here listening to my voice droning on. But we're going to call it a night now, guys, anyway. Don't forget, you can still share this feed. You can still share your pages in this feed. Debbie, thank you for joining us as well. And if you're just joining us now, I know I'm wrapping it up and calling it an evening, guys, but you can still watch this at your convenience at a later time. It will be uploaded to YouTube, and it will become available on both channels to watch via the YouTube link. If you're not following our YouTube site, then it's worth a follow. It's GSI Paranormal on the YouTube channel, of course, and as well as my mediumship page. There's two actually. One is a public figure page for the work I do, and the other one is the one you're probably following me on already, where I post all my words of wisdoms. So thank you for joining us, guys. Hope to speak and see you all soon back here at this time next week. If there's anything you haven't asked and you don't want to put it out there to an audience because it's personal, then please feel free to personally message me on my Neil Cook Facebook page. If you follow me on that, I'll do my utmost best to answer it as quickly as I can. And if it's not immediately tonight, it'll be in the next couple of days. But yeah, anything you want to do, post them in the comments. Let these good people see that, and we'll make sure they follow you as well. Anything as well, Vicky?
No, I just love Linda Brooks. I've never met her, but
Yep.
Every time a comment comes up, she just makes me smile.
What's she asking? What's she saying?
Good night, Neil and Vicky. Been a great listening, brilliant topics discussed tonight. But I can just feel her energy.
Yeah.
She makes me smile every time. Even when I just see Linda Brooks, I smile.
She's got good energy. Linda kind of manipulated myself to an extent that being clairsentient, we not only feel things, we smell things, and I picked up on something which Linda had experienced, and I mentioned it in this live feed last week. And when she personally messaged me, she actually confirmed what I was actually saying. So yeah, a lot of your energy comes through on this live stream, and people always say there's no energy in writing, but there is, because some of my best readings I've ever done through live stream, through Facebook and through Skype in comments, just by people messaging me, I've picked up a lot of energy, because it takes energy to create energy, if that makes sense. And we put a lot of our energy into what we write, and it normally has something meaningful. So when someone is telling me something about themselves or a loved one they want me to connect to, then that energy will come through. And I will say, guys, that if you're wanting a message from spirit, from one of your loved ones, then the more you want, they know what we are thinking, they know our thoughts, they hear our speech. So don't think that they don't know you're wanting this message. And if you put enough energy into it, then there's no reason, however you look to contact with your loved one, that they won't do their utmost best. Like I said earlier on, they're wanting that connection with you as much as you're wanting that connection with them. So on that note, guys, have a good night. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, keep smiling. Don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them, and give them a big kiss as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Look forward to speaking to you very soon. And don't forget, you can still comment in this live stream, and I'll look forward to answering your messages. Take care, guys. Have a good night.